at a Phillies game waiting in line to get a huge overpriced hot dog. A man in front of you is wearing a brightly colored t-shirt. How did you see or visually process this man in his shirt? Well, to begin, light enters your eye through the cornea, which protects the eye and bends light to focus. A small adjustive opening called the pupil has the light pass through it. Your iris, the color part of your eye, dilates or constricts in response to the light intensity passing through the pupil. Behind your pupil is the lens that changes and bends to focus on the man in his shirt through the process of accommodation. The lens projects the light onto the thin inner surface of the back of the eyeball called the retina. Inside the retina are many different cells that help you see this man in his shirt. A small depression in the center of the retina is called the fovea. Here visual acuity is highest and the cones reside here. Your cones are photoreceptors that detect fine detail in color in daylight or bright light. Your rods, however, are not in the fovea and help you detect black, white, and gray. After passing through the retina and the photoreceptors, the light information is transmitted by the bipolar cells to the ganglion cells. The ganglion cells receive the information and transmit it to the brain.
Bundled axons of the ganglion cells make up the optic nerve, which connects the retina to the brain. However, the optic nerve can leave the eye, creating a spot with no receptor cells called a blind spot. The optic nerve fibers form from each of your eyes cross at a point in the brain called the optic chiasm. From here, the sensory information is transmitted to the thalamus, where it will be sent to the correct cortex for processing. The information will be sent to the visual cortex in the occipital lobe at the back of the visual cortex. The visual cortex is part of the cerebral cortex involved in vision. Inside the visual cortex are the feature detectors, cells, cortical neurons, that respond to specific features of the man in his shirt, such as shape, angle, or movement. How you saw the color of the man's shirt can be explained by two theories. The trichromatic theory is that your retina contains 3 different color receptors, which when combined in stimulation can produce perception of any color. The opponent process theory suggests that color is perceived by opposing retinal processes like red, green, and yellow-blue enable color vision. That is how you saw the man and his brightly colored shirt.
You are at a Phillies game. Number 26 goes up to bat. The pitch is thrown, and 26 gets a piece of the ball. There's a loud crack, and the ball goes flying. That loud crack travels to your pinna. It is the outer earlobe part. It collects sound into the outer ear canal. Next, it moves to the auditory canal, which channels sound waves to the eardrum. The eardrum is a tight membrane, causing it to vibrate when sound reaches it. Then it reaches the hammer, which is a tiny bone that passes the sound from the eardrum to the anvil. The anvil is also a tiny bone that passes vibrations to the stirrup. Also a tiny bone, it is U-shaped and it passes vibrations from the stirrup to the cochlea. Moving to the cochlea, which is a spiral-shaped, fluid-filled inner ear structure. The cochlea is lined with tiny hairs called cilia that move when vibrated and cause nerve impulses to form. The sound then moves to the basilar membrane, which is a thin strip of tissue sensitive to vibrations in the cochlea. It passes through hair cells that bend from vibrations. Axons of those cells converge to form the auditory nerves, which send neural messages via the thalamus to the auditory cortex in the brain's temporal lobe. There are also Eustachian tube. It is a tube that connects the middle ear to the back of the nose. It equalizes the pressure between the middle ear and the air outside, plus the semicircular canals, which are 3 loops of fluid-filled tubes that are attached to the cochlea in the inner ear. That is how the home run hit by 26 reaches your ear.